G'day everybody, it's Mike from Mike's Track Building, and I'd like to just do a bit of an update on what is happening with some of the tracks I'm building. It's actually, I made a decision to actually convert some tracks. I have permission from the original person who did the track, and the good thing is it should work out okay. The first track, hang on, we'll just get 3D Max working. Okay, so the first track is actually going to be Eastern Creek Laser. Now, this track was done in 2008, so a fair while back, and some of the buildings and stuff are not that good, but some of the buildings are excellent, like the control tower here. It's really, really good. It was done brilliantly. The grandstand and the pits are okay. This is the driver training centre, and I built that, so it's okay. I still need to do some updates on it, and the car park and a few other things like that. So there are about 4 or 5 of us involved, and Brendan Pywell, who was the creator of Bob's Track Builder, he did the Lidar part of it, or the laser scan actually part of it. And the good thing is that the mesh on the track, as you can see, is really quite high resolution, which means that it will port really, really easily into R Factor 2. So I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is just bring the mesh into R Factor 2 and apply new textures to it, and it should work pretty well. And what I'll do, I'll just port it as it is from R Factor 1, and then I will eventually update the textures and a few other bits and pieces to get it to a reasonably good standard so that we can play on it, which would be good. Now, I know there's some other guys that are doing the same track. This is not a, trying to be in competition with them. It's not trying to be a one-up or anything like that. This is just to convert an old track which was done really well, and it's the first laser scan track that ever went into R Factor, as far as I know, and I want to bring it into R Factor 2 and hopefully update it so it looks pretty good. Everything's good, like the trees and everything are exactly in the right place. There's, at the time, and the track has changed since 2008, but at the time everything was exactly how it should be, so it should be a nice track. The other one is Oran Park. Oran Park was also a brainchild of Brendan and some guys at a university. So this is Oran Park. Now, there's been some other people who have done this track for sure. That's, it's the same thing. It's not to try and rip people off, or it's not trying to be a one-up thing. It is just to bring this track in there so there's another choice. And we all know that iRacing have done a really amazing job bringing this track into there, but this was the first one that was done, and it was Lidar and laser scan, and it was just done absolutely brilliantly, and I believe it deserves to be in R Factor 2. So the next track, where is it? hang on, I'm just going to just reset. Yes. The next track, and this one is unfortunately I can't get permission for as yet. I'm just going to try and show it to you. I'll just bring this across and import as objects. And we'll just go Control A and we'll open this and hopefully it will work. Hopefully, here we are. Okay, so this track is Gnoo Blass. Now, this is a track in Orange, New South Wales, and this was done as a official project with the Orange Historical Society, I think it was, and it has only been in R Factor 1. It is extremely well done, and it's, I think, 1950 something, 1953, 1957 version of the track. So back then there was like there's no buildings around. It was very, very sparse. You still had the hospital here, and now there's a golf course and all sorts of stuff through here. But I'm trying to get permission to do this. I have contacted Neil and he has got back to me, but he hasn't actually given permission to do it. So if anybody out there knows how to contact Neil, I would love to bring this over to R Factor 2 as an historical track. So at the moment it's just going to be a private version, but I'm not going to do that immediately. It's going to be a little bit down the track, but I'm trying to get permission to get this into R Factor 2 because it is so good. And the thing is, not that many people play R Factor 1 at the moment, so the R Factor 2 is the platform I want to get it in, but I need permission to do it. The other one, which has been an ongoing mission, is Bathurst. Now I've got, what the heck, come on, stop messing around. I've got a version of Bathurst that I'm working on, and it's a bit of a mishmash. It's actually made up of maybe 2 or 3 different tracks. It is not a rip-off. It is not a direct copy of another track. All the mesh will be new, and there's a lot of stuff for the 1984 version which is going to be scratch built. But the basic track and the terrain is from another version, but I've rebuilt a lot of that track and terrain, so trying not to, rip off someone else's work. So this will be the thing that we'll get rid of eventually, is the chase. So the 84 version goes through here, and it will be as close as I can get to the 1984-85 version before they put the chase in. The chase was put in 86, but the 85 version no one's ever done. So I'd like to try and get the 84-85 version done. The 84 version is important because it's the last of the Group C cars, and the 85 is the first of the Group A cars. The track was the same. The only thing they did differently in 1984, they put the new pit entrance in and this part of the pit, but the old pits here will be, I'm going to try and build them from scratch. So there's a lot of changes I have to do. This will be a long-term project, but I'm hoping to get a basic version out, maybe by mid-year, something like that. So I'll just reset, get out of there. And of course we've got Lakeside. Now Lakeside is an ongoing thing. There's no, as far as I know, I don't think I'll ever stop working on it. I just need to get it, keep improving it, getting it as good as I can. And ideally I'd love to get it laser scanned, but at the moment I just don't have the finance to do it. It is an expensive job. As you see, there's no there's no textures because I reformatted my computer and I've reinstalled stuff, so the actual path to the individual textures has changed. So I've got to go through each one and redo it and update it. But the main thing is that the track is pretty well done. This section here, the driver training area, I'm going over that and I want to get that done reasonably well, so it's okay. This section here is a lake. Well, it's not a lake, it floods when it rains, but it's always wet, so there's some trees and some things I need to do in there. There's some things which, just in time I'll get done. The entrance, this is still just basic rubbish. There's no detail in here at all. It's pretty well, how it was in Bob's Track Builder when I did it back 10 years ago. But I want to do the whole entrance here because this section here, the gate and everything I want to get done so people can understand, people can see that when you come in here it's how the track was. So the track will be still at this stage the 2012 version of the track because that was the best version of the track before they started putting in extra barriers and they changed the fencing and I think they ruined the track. I've even spoken to John Tetley, who was the manager, or he's the owner of QR, but he's put millions of his own dollars into this track to get it going. He agrees as well, but he has no choice because that's the rules that have to be done. So Lakeside will continue to be worked on and updates will be coming soon. And the next one is Queensland Raceway. Don't want to change. So we've got Queensland Raceway coming up and it's still a long way to go on that. It's as you can see, I've lost all my textures, but I put in new trees here. These are accurate to the real trees, all down here. So I need to redo the trees here because they were too small in the original track, which was in R Factor 1. The trees were the default size and too small. They need to be a lot taller. So what I'm doing is using reference photos to try and do the trees as they were, or as they are in real life. So we'll try to get it as close as we can. Can't get it perfect, but we'll try and get it close as we can. There's a lot of work to do in this section, and this is the next major update, which will be coming out as soon as I can get it done. So we've got the skid pan, which will go here. There's a lot of little details in the center of the track, like there's a sort of a valley through here which I want to get done, but that will make it look a lot better. So there's a water pump and a few other things, which just little details in the main part of the track. So this coloured section here, in everything within the walls, I want to try and update as much as I can, and that'll just be a rolling update. So each time you log into rFactor, you will see it update. I may actually do an update which will have no trees out here, but the interior will be as accurate as I can get it. So it will be rolling updates as time goes on. So I think that's about it. There's another one I want to try and do. I think, yes. I haven't done a car yet, but this is a car that I want to actually get in the game, because this car belongs at Lakeside. It's Dick Johnson's True Blue. The exterior is actually really, really good. The interior is rubbish, because the person that did this model, let me just have a look inside here. The person who did this model said I can get a full update on the interior, but it's going to cost like $200 or something. So I'm going to rebuild the interior. At this stage, we'll just put in this. It's just a place setter, We'll do that, but the exterior is actually pretty good. The wheels are correct, even though they're the wrong colour. The wheels are correct. The suspension height is wrong, and the rear tyres, they use the same wheel diameter, but Dick Johnson and the other guys that ran XD Falcons put a really big rear tyre on the back, so that needs to be changed. But the rest of the car is actually not too bad. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to have a go at putting this car into the game, so we can have a touring car, XD touring car in there, and I'm hoping it shouldn't be much of a change to make it a XE, which is Green's Tough, of course. Well, actually Dick Johnson ran True Blue as an XE in 1982. In 83, the car that he drove through the trees was actually the blue one with green paint. And in 84, Green's Tough was a new car, and that car is now preserved as it was with Bowden's family in just north of Brisbane. Anyway, so that's a bit of an update on what's happening. So I'll get this done as time goes on. There's some stuff happening at home, which is pretty not fun. There's some stuff happening with my wife's health, but it's gonna, I'll be home a lot, so I'm gonna try and pass time and get things done as best I can for you guys out there to enjoy. And oh, that's what I meant to show. Also, we'll just get. I meant to tell you about this. I have my own website. Now all these tracks will be here. So we've got Mike's Track Building and Sim Racing. Now I've got about 1.5 terabyte of files going back to the early 1990s. So I've got IndyCar racing files, I've got NASCAR racing files, NASCAR 2, 3, 4, 2003, rFactor 1, rFactor 2, plus many others. So what I'm going to do is eventually have all these files uploaded on my site. So you'll be able to go in there and have a look at stuff you want. So here for IndyCar Racing 2, for example, we go in there and you're Indianapolis Speedway, so you click on that and you can save the file or open it. So this is Indy 98. I think it'll be really good if I can get all these files on this website, because a lot of the old websites now are starting to close down. So what I want to try and do is obviously get as many of these files that I've got. Now, of course, I've got heaps of Assetto Corsa, Automobilista 2, which is brand new, some old ones here, but I've also got GT Legends files, GTR Evolution, GTR files, GTR 2 files, got a heap of stuff there, which goes right back to the early days. IndyCar Racing files, we've got stuff which goes back to the mid-90s. Grand Prix 4, NASCAR Racing 2, I've actually got a whole CD, 700 meg worth of stuff there. So there's a lot of stuff which we've got R-Factor files, and there's stuff going, there's heaps of stuff. So all this will be on my website as soon as I can get it up there. So there's lots of things here. We've got R-Factor 2 files. Whoops, hit the wrong one. There's track sections there. There's all sorts of stuff there that I'm sure if all these were in the one area, that would make things a lot easier. So this is being built up, and what I'm wanting to do is just have it like a depository of as many updates and things, which some have just gone. They're not available anymore, and I think a lot of the stuff I have is has been saved. So there's a lot of sites that have just closed down and stuff over the years. So this will be a bit of a suppository for a lot of sim racing games. The only thing I might do, I might just put a PayPal thing there, and that is only for if you want to donate to help keep this work going, that would be good. Certainly there will be nothing you have to pay for. I don't believe in doing that for old stuff like this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, just hope you have the best week, and we'll see you as soon as I can to give you some more updates on what's happening. Okay, stay safe and keep well, and if you're in this crazy thing where you're isolated and all that sort of stuff, yeah, I'm assuming that you're a sim racer, so you're probably passing time doing that. But just keep safe and do the right thing, and hopefully in a few months things will be back to some sort of normality. So yeah, have the best day. See ya.